Well, hello and welcome everyone to the New Health Conversation. My name is Peter Greenlaw. I started the New Health Conversation movement. And today what we're going to just, you can see the title, Diets Are Officially Obsolete. They don't work, they can't work, despite the number of people coming on that say the only way to lose weight is to lower calories. It's complete nonsense, and we're going to prove it today with medical proof. We're also going to show you, hello Sandra, nice, thanks for joining us today. We're going to talk about the topic there. You can see diets are officially obsolete. Sandra, how excited would you be? Oh, okay. I guess you weren't, you don't want to lose weight. I guess you want to gain weight. So, okay, good. Stay on diets because they don't work. That's the bottom line, everyone. The problem with all diets is they don't work in the long run. I don't care what anybody says. We have the medical proof to back it up. We're also going to show you today 7 new peer-reviewed human trial studies where men and women with no exercise lost as much weight in 7 days as in 8 weeks of any diet. So I welcome you to the New Health Conversation. We're going to discuss today why diets are absolutely 100% obsolete and that counting calories is one of the most unhealthy things you could ever do as a way to lose weight. There's many reasons for that. And we're going to go over all of them today on this podcast, which is not an infomercial. It is live. It's not pre-recorded. You're welcome to make comments, whatever in the chat as we move forward. But the main thing that we're talking about today is why are they failing us? Why? I mean, 80% of Americans are overweight, 50% are obese, and 50% are pre-diabetic. Do you think diets are obsolete, or do you think that diets actually work? Because, hello, Chris, thanks for joining us. So basically what we're talking about, Chris, is why diets, heart and soul. We're going to talk today, show you how you could lose as much weight safely in 7 days as in 8 weeks of any diet. I guess that's not what you want to do. So, bro needs more peeps like you. Oh, thank you very, very much. That's very nice of you to say that. Um, let's see. JK Hard Gamer. Hello. Hello. How are you? Anyway, to make a long story short, for those of you that are new and don't know about the New Health Conversation, we're going to prove to you today that any conventional diets by lowering calories is one of the most unhealthy things you could ever do. By contrast, we're going to show you we have 10 new peer-reviewed human trial studies that absolutely obsolete every diet you've been on. So imagine, Greg, losing as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of dieting. Lose as much weight in a month as a year on any diet, losing no water and gaining 6 to 9% lean muscle mass despite no exercise allowed. Diets are officially obsolete. It's not a sales gimmick. They don't work. We have the medical evidence to prove it. We've got people like Harvard Medical School. I have for all of you right here. Harvard Medical School, stop counting calories. Most people have been taught that losing weight is a matter of simple math. Cut calories, specifically 3,500, and you lose a pound. But as it turns out, experts are learning that this decades-old strategy is a totally misguided approach. This idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. She goes on to say, drop the calories notion. It's time to take a different approach by concentrating on what's in the food, not how much food we're consuming. So Greg, you'll notice down at the bottom, the New Health Conversation, it's a free website, only medical proof. There's nothing to buy there. There's nothing to see there. I mean, there's plenty to see there, the medical proof. But what we offer you is you get to see all the information up front. Then and only then, if you go to that website, we won't contact you. Understand that. We don't do that. But if you scroll down, you can sign up for a free personal consultation with one of our coaches. Our coaches have done the protocol, had extreme results, and have coached many, many people through this because, Cindy, this is not a diet. It's so amazing that people, we're so inundated. I know that people are skeptical, Greg. It's absolutely part of the whole, situation. But the point is that when you have what are called peer-reviewed human trial studies, they're above reproach. They've already been analyzed. Like no drug ever gets approved without a peer-reviewed human trial study. And isn't it interesting that no other diets have peer-reviewed medical studies? And I know it sounds crazy that individuals are losing that kind of weight that fast, but it's really true. But it's not just Harvard Medical School. Let me read another big study right here, why you shouldn't count calories. The truth is, calorie counting is a terrible approach for weight loss. While counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. And what's even worse is 2/3 of people who try to count or restrict their calories gain back more weight than they lost. So imagine, Greg, you go on a diet. Did you know you're going on a diet to gain weight? I'm sure they're not telling you that. This is medical proof. This isn't hyperbole. This isn't some sales gimmick. This is literally what's going on. And there's more studies that highlight the same thing. Here's another one. It's titled, Don't Bother Counting Calories. It's complete nonsense. Keep in mind, Greg, none of this is my opinion. Here's what they said. Inevitably, more than 95% of people will go back to their baseline weight, and many will go above it if they're doing any type of calorie-restricted diet. Here's another one. In this study, what did they say? Why losing weight isn't about cutting calories. Amid all the fad diets, calorie restriction continue to be a popular approach to weight loss. It turns out that cutting calories for weight loss is a misguided strategy that leads to the more unintended weight gain over time. All of you are going on diets. Did you know you're doing it to gain weight? Did you know that's what's really happening, at least in 66 and 2/3 of people? And yet there are 10 new peer-reviewed human trial studies where men and women were not even allowed to exercise, 80% women, 20% men. They lost as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any of these ridiculous diets. They lost as much weight in a month as a year in any diet. Instead of losing lean muscle, which is the case on all those diets, they actually gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. And these major studies, which we have, and you'll see them on the website, they were started 6 years ago. These people have kept the weight off now for 6 years. I lost 40 pounds 21 years ago. I've kept it off for 21 years. The protocol is called R2M. That's what the researchers call it, race to maintenance. The whole key to this is to get you to goal as quickly and safely as possible. Then you're at the end of the beginning. Then we teach you how to maintain it, just like for myself and thousands of other people. We figure over 21 and a half years, we've helped about 700,000 people all over the world. And they've lost somewhere around like 20 million pounds. I know it sounds insane, but out of 700,000 people, you can see how that's really possible. But the whole idea is to get you excited about your results. As a matter of fact, Greg, most men and women, we tell them, we warn them, we say, just give us 4 days. Because by the 5th morning, when you get on the scale, you typically have lost as much weight in 4 days as in a month of dieting. And people think their scale's broken. I'm not making this up. They've never seen anything like this. Of course, then they go, oh my God, it's unhealthy to lose that much weight that fast on a diet. Yeah, on a diet, it'd be really unhealthy. This is not a diet. So Greg, do you want to put anything in the chat? I mean, are you looking to lose weight? How tall you are, how much you weigh, and I can give you a baseline of how quickly you could get to maintenance, because that's the whole key to the whole thing. And then we teach you how to stay there. It's all, like I said, or you don't have to do it, but right there, the new health conversation, you can see all the medical proof, and if you like what you see, then you can scroll down and you can sign up for free consultation or not. But I'm just curious. I always ask people, what's their motivation on being in the podcast? What do you really want to do? Because I can tell you this for sure, Greg, we're the only people on all of social media with peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. Not a scientific paper, not a clinical trial on mice and rats. That doesn't count. This is a big, big deal. And it's the only protocol, which was invented, by the way. How was it invented? By the researchers. They've done 38 years of diets, nutrition, physiology, and they're the ones that came up with this. And again, look at the results. So Cheryl, imagine, how excited would you be if you could lose a whole dress size in 7 days with no exercise? Lose as much weight in a week as 8 weeks of any diet, Cheryl. Go on to lose as much weight in a month as a year in any diet, lose no water, and actually gain lean muscle mass instead of losing it. I know it sounds good to be true. That's why, Cheryl, diets are obsolete. They don't work, they can't work, they will not work. Now, it doesn't mean you're not going to lose weight on any diet you go on, but you gain it all back. I read from one of these big studies here where they said that while counting calories, restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. That's the downside to all this. None of these damn diets work, period, end of the story. It's a waste of time. And when you're losing weight by lowering calories and ignoring what's in the calorie, you're doing yourself really unhealthy things by slowing down your metabolism. That's why when you come off the diet, Greg, you gain everything back. Or more importantly, when you lose lean muscle, you slow down your own immune system. This is not a diet. The main reason to do this is not to, lose weight, although that's a big draw. The biggest reason to do this is that This is a new medical syndrome called TDOS. I have it, you have it, every person in the world. T is for toxicity, the D is for deficiency, the O is for overweight, the S is for stress. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office of a new medical condition that everybody has. We're storing chemicals inside our body. It's a major contributing factor why 80% of Americans are overweight and 50% are obese, and why every disease statistic is going out of control. Because our body doesn't know what to do with these chemicals, so it takes them and stuffs them in our visceral fat. That's the fat wrapped around your organs. So they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, Greg, and proved that this was removing chemicals from the body. Not up for debate. It's in the studies. You can see it if you go there. I know it sounds too good to be true, but trust me. You don't have to trust me. Sorry, that's a bad statement. But if you believe in medical science, there's no higher evidence in medical science than peer-reviewed human trial studies done on human beings that have been scrutinized by the top medical doctors and researchers in the entire world. That's why no drug ever gets approved without a peer-reviewed human trial study. Does that all make sense to you, Greg? Now, what did the researchers do? Basically, after 38 years, over 100 studies, thousands of people, and every diet out there, they realized that every time people lost weight on what didn't matter what paleo, keto, Mediterranean, didn't matter. But every time the people, when they measured their lean muscle, they lost up to 40% of the lean muscle, which resulted in slowing down the metabolism, and all the people gained all the weight back. So the first thing they realized that all the diet strategies out there were the same. Here's what most people don't understand. We have a minimum amount of nutrition in our body that we have to run all the organs. When you go on a diet, Greg, all you're really doing is lowering the amount of food you're consuming, but at the same time, you're lowering the amount of nutrition. When you lower the nutrition, the brain figures out there's not enough fuel. It freaks out and literally goes in survival mode, stops your body from burning fat, and begins to convert your muscles into carbohydrates for fuel. And then two of the most unhealthy things on the planet happen. One, it slows your metabolism down. That's why you gain all the weight back. But more importantly, it also interferes with your own immune system. So what did the researchers, what was their theory? Now, by the way, the research, they don't sell anything. There's no product. This is a protocol, okay? The theory was, could we lower the amount of food, but not lower the amount of nutrition? So they knew they'd used, organic food in all these studies over the years and realized that because our food in this country is becoming more and more nutritionally bankrupt, okay, that they were unable to sustain enough nutrition, and so the body would revert to lean muscle. And these researchers, so Jenna, this is a new weight loss program where women lose a whole dress size in 7 days. They lose as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet you've ever been on, and lose as much weight in a month as a year on any diet without the loss of water weight and loss of lean muscle mass. Like I said, most women lose a whole dress size just in the first 7 days. How excited would you be if you could drop a whole dress size in 7 days? And there's a free website, you can see it down there, the New Health Conversation. All the medical proof is there. There's nothing to buy there. There's nothing, no tricks. But if you go there, you're able to see the medical proof first. We're not hiding anything from you. And then if you like what you see, you can scroll down and sign up for a free, and I mean free, personal consultation with one of our coaches. Our coaches have done the protocol. They can answer all your questions about how this worked. But again, Jenna, would it excite you if you could lose as much weight in 7 days as in 8 weeks of any diet and actually make yourself healthier in the short run? How about losing as much weight in a month as a year on any diet without the loss of water and gaining 6 to 9% lean muscle mass? Would that be pretty exciting for you? I'd love to know. I'd also love to know, if you don't mind putting it in the comment, are you looking to lose weight? Because we have people who not want to gain weight. We work with athletes. We got kids as young as 2 doing this, and people that are 90. We got people with, a whole host of medical challenges, and we're not treating, diagnosing, curing any diseases. Don't hear me say that. That's not true. But I'm just curious as to, I always ask people, what are you trying to do? Again, it would be important that I could give you an indication of how quickly maybe you could lose the weight. Hi, Mike. Thanks for joining us. Because the key here is this is a medical breakthrough. After 38 years of research, these weight loss nutrition physiologists who conducted over 100 studies, thousands of people, they are the ones that developed this. And like I said, they don't have a product, they don't sell anything, they don't have a company. So what they did, they engineered a completely different approach. They allowed people, including yourself, you'd get a growth. What's the gist of it? Keto, fasting, what? No, 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 none of those work, Mike, none, zero, okay? They do not work, okay? I can give you example after example, okay? This is a completely different way of consuming food and a completely different way of getting food, okay? So what the researchers did, Mike, the top weight loss research, well, let me tell you this, Mike. How excited would you be if you could lose as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet you've ever been on? How about losing as much weight in a month as a year on any diet, lose no water, and gain 6 to 9% lean muscle mass? Most guys, Mike, lose about 4 inches in their waist in the first week, and no one was allowed to exercise. All of those diets you're referencing up there are completely obsolete. Let me just explain right here to you. Harvard Medical School stopped counting calories. They're saying the idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not just antiquated, it's just wrong. They said we need to concentrate on what's in the food, not how much food we're consuming. That's what these researchers did. So Mike, here's what they did. They put a grocery list together. Now remember, they're the top weight loss researchers in the world for 38 years. Okay, they've looked at every diet out there. And what they realized, the problem with diets was that calories, forget calories, it's nonsense. What we need to concentrate on is nutrition. When you go on a diet, lower the amount of food you're consuming, you lower the amount of nutrition, the brain triggers starvation mode, preventing you from burning fat and turning your muscles into fuel, whether you know that or not. That's what's going on every diet. So the researchers said, could we lower the amount of food, but not lower the amount of nutrition? So what they did, they made a grocery list of only about 30 or 40% of the food you would buy would be from your local grocery store. The other 5 foods came from other suppliers, not the people who did the research. They don't sell anything, they don't have a product. So you're not buying from the researchers and you're not buying from us. You're buying it directly from the suppliers who supply these 5 foods that come from all over the world, from Russia, Mongolia, Manchuria, from Tibet and the Himalayas and South America. So 40% of your food from the grocery store, 60% from these foods from around the world. And then they had 2 completely different ways of consuming the food. 5 days a week, you do something called protein pacing. On those days, you only have for breakfast those 5 foods from around the world. Lunch, regular food from the grocery store. Dinner, regular food from the grocery store. And Mike, you have a 4th meal 5 days a week. Completely different than any diet out there. 4 meals. Then 2 days a week, you do something called intermittent nutritional fasting, not time-restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, just these 5 foods from around the world. You have 4 meals over the course of about 12 hours. But Mike, the results, and here's the thing, Mike, unlike keto, unlike fasting, and like any of that stuff, we have 10, I have them right here, 10 peer-reviewed medical studies published in the biggest medical journals in the world. That's why the title, Diets Are Officially Obsolete, not my opinion. These are the top weight loss researchers in the world. And they said, we have a website that's free to go there. I'll put it down right at the bottom for you one more time. You can see the medical studies there. And there's an interview with the number one, the top weight loss guy in the world, and says, they would never recommend a traditional diet, keto, paleo, Mediterranean, to anybody ever again. They said, why would we have people go through the torture of 8 weeks of dieting when we had people lose that much weight in 7 days? And unlike diets, where up to 40% of what you're losing is lean muscle mass, we had people gain 6 to 9% lean muscle, lose no water. The other thing that's important, Mike, these studies were started about 6 years ago. They've followed those people for the last 6 years. They've not gained back any of their weight. That's the downfall to all of these diets. That's why this other big study over here where they talked about the problem with diets was the fact that, let me find it here. The problem with diets is that people, well, here's the study, why you shouldn't count calories. They said, while calorie counting and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. What's even worse is 2/3 of people who restrict calories gain back more weight than they lost. So imagine, Mike, you're going on a diet. Did you know you're going on a diet to gain weight? That's why it's so significant that they follow these people for 6 years and they haven't gained. I lost 40 pounds 21 years ago, Mike. I've kept it off for 21 years. I went from a 42-inch waist to a 34-inch waist in 18 days. I'm still a 34-inch waist today. This is not a diet. It doesn't work anything like a diet. All those diets you're naming Oh, okay, Mike. You can see the website right there, the New Health Conversation. And Mike, when you go there, we won't contact you. Let me share one other piece of information with you. If you go there and you like what you see, scroll down and you can schedule a free personal consultation with one of our coaches. And I mean, it's free. They're not there to sell you. They're not there to convince you, because we don't sell you anything. If you do decide to do it, you buy it directly from the suppliers, other than the 40% of the food you're going to buy from your local grocery store. And again, look at the medical proof first. And then if you want, you can do the free consultation. By the way, the coaching is 100% free, not just your initial consultation, but that coach will follow you the whole time to get you to your goal and then teach you how to stay there. Mike, can you imagine? I lost 40 pounds 21 years ago and kept it off for 21 years. That is what we should be concentrating on. It's not a question, can we get the weight off you? But getting the weight off you is the end of the beginning. The long-term goal is to show you how to maintain it for the rest of your life. Isn't that the most important thing to any of you that are on this today? So awesome thing, I'll check it out. Would anybody else like to ask me a question? Or not? You don't have to. I'm just saying. But I love to interact with people, only because other people that are watching this presentation, this podcast, they benefit from it. So hello, Jenna. Hello, Gratitude Warrior, Irma Martinez. Okay, so I think I have 3 ladies on the phone. Okay, listen to me, ladies. How excited would you be if with no exercise, you could drop an entire dress size in 7 days? You could lose as much weight in the first 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet you've ever been on. How about losing as much weight in a month as a year on any diet, lose no water weight, and instead of losing lean muscle, gain 6 to 9% lean muscle mass? You're not on a diet. Diets don't work. That's the whole point. Diets are officially obsolete. It's not my opinion. When we're talking about people like Harvard Medical School, I have the article right here. This is Harvard Medical School, title, Stop Counting Calories. Listen to this. Most people have been taught that losing weight is a matter of simple math. Cut calories, specifically 3,500, and you'll lose about a pound. But as it turns out, experts are learning that this decades-old strategy is totally misguided. The idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. She goes on to say, drop the calories notion, said Stanford. It's time to take a different approach by concentrating on what's in the food, not how much food we're consuming. Study after study, all these experts now are reversing course. Counting calories is one of the most unhealthy things you could ever do to yourself. So your diet, your success, you fit in your skinny jeans, but it's not doing something for you. It's doing something to you. Because you have to understand what happens on diets. And the whole idea of calories is nonsense. The human body doesn't know what a calorie is. Why are we counting calories? What the body cares about is nutrition. So what happens in our body, we have a minimum amount of nutrition that we need in order to be alive, right? Because the nutrition, not calories, run the brain, the heart, the kidney, the liver, etc. When you go on a diet, all you're doing is lowering the amount of food you're consuming, but what else are you lowering? The amount of nutrition. And when the brain senses not enough nutrition, it freaks out, goes in starvation mode, prevents you from burning fat, and turns to your muscles. That's why you see all that loose skin. Okay, you see it all the time. You go to our website, you'll see men and women in particular, who lost like 100 pounds, no loose skin. I know it's too hard to believe, but the website is totally free. As a matter of fact, if you go to our website, we don't contact you. We don't have to convince you. The medical proof, it's the only, nobody else on social media have peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. They have scientific papers, means nothing. They have a clinical study on mice and rats, means nothing. This is a huge deal. These research, they're the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the entire world for 38 years. They did over 100 studies on every diet out there. And here's what they proved. People, men and women, lost weight on every diet out there. But in every single case, men and women lost up to 40% of the lean muscle, and every person gained back all the weight they'd lost. It didn't matter what the name of the diet was. I mean, basically, you're going on a diet to gain weight. Well, 66 2/3 of you, according to these medical studies that I have right here, why you shouldn't count calories when what's worse about counting calories is 2/3 of people who try to counter restrict their calories gain back more weight than they lost. So did you know you're going on a diet to gain weight? Was that your goal? I'm not trying to be funny. This is the reality of, we have 80% of America overweight, 50% obese, 50% pre-diabetic, 33% of our kids are pre-diabetic or diabetic. What are we doing? And you got to understand the graph is going like this. In 2008, there were only 60% overweight or obese. And I have a study right here. Study predicts obesity apocalypse by 2030. In 5 years, Johns Hopkins Medical School estimates 86% of us are going to be overweight or obese. Does that sound like to any of you that this is working? Is that you think counting calories is a good strategy? Do you see how crazy this is? What are we doing? We're following these influences. Show me an influencer, any of you. Number one, they don't have one shred of medical evidence, but let's go beyond that. Would you agree that every one of these diets, at the end of the day, they're trying to show you a way to reduce the amount of calories, which is nonsense. The human body doesn't know what a calorie is. Why aren't they talking about reducing? Harvard Medical School, they're on to it. All these world experts have completely reversed course now and said, we were wrong. We should have never talked about calories. We should have talked about nutrition. Because again, it's how we survive. That's why we're alive, not because of calories. When you're hungry, you're not hungry for calories. You're hungry for nutrition. Am I making sense to any of you or not? I mean, the point is, oh my God, postmenopause. Yeah. Jenna, awesome, thanks. I'll check. Okay. So Jenna, bear with me just for a moment. I promise this will be very, very worthwhile. What we're all suffering from is this new medical condition. It's called TDOS. The T is for toxicity, the D is for deficiency, the O is for being overweight, the S is for stress. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. I have it, you have it, every person in the world. Now, what does it mean? It means that we're drinking and we're breathing, eating chemicals. And when they enter your body, the body's taking them and stuffing them inside the visceral fat. The visceral fat, you have an outer layer of fat that's called adipose. But the underlying fat, the fat that surrounds our organs, is called visceral. That's where our body's storing this stuff. That's why also people complain to me, it's not just how much weight they have, it's the amount of fat. Okay, now listen to this. I'm going to read from world-class experts. We didn't even know that we were storing chemicals in our body till 2005. Now, I am credited with discovering this medical syndrome. So let's go from there. But I don't want you to believe me. Let's look at, you talk about hormones, etc. Listen to this. The Endocrine Society, the largest organization of experts devoted to the research on hormones, and the clinical practice of endocrinology reports that the rise in the incidence of obesity matches the rise in the use and distribution of industrialized chemicals. These chemicals have a name, they're called obesogens. Listen to what they say. Simply put, obesogens are chemicals that disrupt the function of our hormonal system, leading to weight gain and many of the diseases that curse the American populace. They enter our body from a variety of sources, from compounds in soy, hormones fed to animals, plastics in food packaging, chemicals added to processed food, and pesticides sprayed on produce. This is the part I want you to listen to. They act in a variety of ways, mimicking human hormones such as estrogen, blocking the action of other hormones such as testosterone, and essentially reprogram us to gain weight. So with all due respect, what are you doing, Jenna? What are you doing about, had you ever heard of obesogens before today? That's why these hormone situations that, women call me all the time and it's like hormones. We've had, it's not a diet. That's what you have to understand, because in these studies, one of the things they proved through blood, stool, urine, and fat, this was assisting in our body from removing herbicides, these obesogens from the body. So is it any wonder that women felt better and had more energy and lowered their stress levels, slept better at night, reduced their hot flashes, sometimes to zero? But you understand you're up against something you didn't even know existed. It's not you. There's nothing wrong with you. It's the approach that you try and use to overcome this. There's no way it's going to work, because there's no diet out there that's ever been shown to remove chemicals from our body. Did you see the study on Starbucks coffee from about 3 months ago, where they said in each cup of Starbucks coffee, you're getting 50 to 100,000 microplastics of plastic in every cup of coffee? They just said these chemicals are affecting our hormones. Men and women, but women in particular, their hormones. And you wonder why you're struggling? Because you don't even, not that you're not smart, but if you don't understand the problem, how are you going to solve it? These diets don't work. They just don't. They don't do anything for hormones, and they do nothing to remove these chemicals that we're storing inside of our body, the body's way of protecting us. We're evolving as a species. to store these chemicals. You go to the website, which is free, you'll see women who lost 100 pounds, they have no loose skin. I know you're going to think we photoshopped. I promise. We didn't. We don't have to, look, we don't have to make up anything. This is not an infomercial. This is a medical podcast where you can learn why in the world, why are diets obsolete? See, all a diet is about, they all concentrate on one thing, losing weight. But has anyone ever told you that the weight you're losing is the most unhealthy weight you could ever lose, and what you're doing to yourself? Number one, not only slowing down your metabolism so you come off the diet and you get everything back, but you're also interfering with your own immune system. Loss of muscle decreases the effectiveness of our immune system. So yeah, these diets, they're not doing something for you. They're doing something to you. But here's the thing, we want you to be comfortable. We set up the medical website for one reason, to give you access to all the medical proof. You don't have to sign up for a free consultation if you don't want to. You still get to see all the medical proof. But again, if you want to see how this, what these guys invented, men and women invented, then you can sign up for a free and it's free, personal consultation with one of our coaches. And they're not there to sell you. They're not there to convince. We have medical doctors. We got RNs. We got PAs. We got naturopaths. We got a whole host of coaches that will help you if you decide that you want to do it. But here's the other part. 40% of the food, look, you have to eat. So take a month's worth of food you're buying now. The researchers, only 40% of what you're going to consume in a month. And the researchers put together a list of proteins, fats, carbs, salads, fruits, etc. A long list of choices. But only 40% of what you're used to buying, you'll be buying. The other 5 foods come from these other researchers, not the people who did the studies. So let me clarify. The researchers don't sell you anything. We don't sell you anything. I mean, obviously, you have to eat, so you're going to buy food from the grocery store anyway. The researchers didn't want you to have more than 40% of your food from the grocery store because our food is so nutritionally insufficient. So they found these researchers that had gone around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Manchuria, Tibet, the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand to find these 5 foods that the researchers said made the world's most perfect meal nutritionally. Because that's the only thing you should care about, okay? I mean, obviously food is pleasurable and, do I like cheesecake, of course, and pizza, but that's not the point. The point is that our bodies need a minimum level of nutrition. And when you break that sacred bond with your brain, and your brain calculates there's not enough nutrition, it freaks out and causes you to use your lean muscle for fuel. But if that's not worse, they also, as a result of that, it slows down your own immune system. Is anybody telling you this on any other people? Are they even bringing this up? Look, I've been a researcher for 21 years, and I'm not telling you this to impress you. I want to impress upon you. I've written 4 best-selling books with all MDs. I've done 20 shows on PBS, interviewed on the 4 biggest daytime shows in America, and did over 1,500 live lectures all over the world, even in China. I've spoken in universities. I've spoken in towns, etc. I am the canary in the coal mine. I'm explaining, I'm giving you access to something that there's no way I would have expected you to know this. These studies, they have made all diets obsolete as of this second. If you're on this podcast and you want to go on a traditional diet, go for it. But it's not going to work. How would you think that diets work? If 80% of Americans are overweight, 50% are obese, and 50% is pre-diabetic, who thinks diets work? Well, they actually work until they don't. Let's be honest about that. But all the studies are saying that you have a 66 2/3% chance of going on a diet of gaining more weight than you lost. It's like, why go on the diet in the first place? This is insanity. We keep doing it though. And with talking in 5.5 years, 86% of Americans are going to be overweight or obese. In 2008, it was only 60% bad enough, overweight and obese. 60%. So in 22 years, we're going from 60% to 86. That's like a 45% increase in 22 years. The graph's going like this. But I didn't even read the worst part. The worst part in the Johns Hopkins medical study, after they said that within 5.5 years, 86% of Americans are going to be obese or overweight, they said, even more troubling, the authors say, by 2048, we estimate that nearly 100% of America will be overweight or obese. The healthcare system will collapse. There's no way. There is no way it's sustainable. I mean, to give you an idea, chronic disease, back in the late 60s, out of the whole healthcare budget, the amount of money on chronic diseases was 0. You know what it is this year? $4.5 trillion. See, it's out of control, but we keep doing the same thing, which is the definition of insanity. We keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. But it's not a diet. The reason to do this is not to fit in your skinny jeans. That's a throw-in. That's the least important part of this, although people get really excited about that. Can you imagine if you step on the scale after 4 days? 4 days, we say just give you 4 days. If you lost as much weight as in a month of any diet, doesn't that excite you? I mean, how much would that motivate you? How much would it motivate you after you get over the shock? Your scale's not broken, and that's the least important part. You'll find your stress levels, your mental fog, you'll sleep better at night, your stress. But the other thing in the studies, that this is one of the most unbelievable things they proved, in 30 days, measuring inflammation, which in case you didn't know, inflammation, medical world says, is the underlying cause of every disease out there. It went down 25% in 30 days. People's hunger, this is really interesting, went down 41% in 30 days. You know what it's like after 30 days on a diet? You're ready to eat your couch. These people basically lost all their cravings. And like I said, I did it 21 years ago. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks. I've kept it off for 21 years. See, that's the only reason to consider this. This is not a diet. If you want diets, I can give you a list. Paleo, keto, Mediterranean, corners, intermittent fasting, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, the Zoom diet, the lose weight for your blood type, on and on and on and on and on. None of them work long term, and I'm going to prove it to you right now. Big study done in the Journal of the American Medical Association. See, what we don't do, we give you original research. We don't give you opinions. We don't make claims. This study was 12 months, Journal of the American Medical Association, one of the biggest medical journals in the world. It was a 12-month study of 48 different studies, 7,286 people over a year. And they named all the major diets in the 48 different studies that were analyzed, right? Listen to this. After 12 months, when they looked at the most amount of weight loss to the least amount of weight loss in a year, it was 10 ounces. 10 ounces. And the average weight loss in a year was about 16 pounds, and they said up to 40% of what everybody lost, it didn't matter what the diet was lean muscle mass. It's exactly what I've been saying. But who's telling you this? And I don't, I'm not going to disparage anybody on social media. You can believe whatever you want to believe. But I have people coming on here that, I had a guy earlier this morning, he said, oh, the way to lose weight is to lower calories. No, sir, you're completely wrong. Not when we're talking about like one of the top obesity experts in the world out of Harvard Medical School. Do you go to Harvard Are you see, people have opinions because we're so damn brainwashed. We are brainwashed. Please, anybody, please explain to me if you think diets work. How could diets work if 80% of Americans are overweight and 50% are obese and 50% are pre-diabetic? We already have insulin shortages. You know, we spend 4 times more than the industrialized world on healthcare. We have about the 50th or 60th worst outcome. We're the most overfed and undernourished societies in the world. That's the problem. Our food, even organic, is becoming more and more nutritionally bankrupt. Let me give you all an example. One of the things you maybe have never heard of before that we need, they're called the spark plugs of life, that sounds important to me, are called trace ionic minerals. Now, I'm not talking about iron, calcium, magnesium. We need 70 of these minerals, according to the experts. In the best organic, you get 20. So I don't care how much you eat, you're still only getting 20. What about the other 50 that we need? Now, I'll give you some examples of trace ionic minerals that you probably never heard of before. Gold, silver, zinc, beryllium, boron, selenium, molybdenum, just to name a few of the 70 that we need. So even if you're eating healthy, you're already in a deficit. The researchers figured that out. That's why they limited you only 40% of your food from the grocery store, because the sources that these other researchers found, they had a source that had all 70 minerals. The researchers made the world's most perfect meal based on nutrition, not based on quantity, on quality. But those food sources came from around the world where there were no herbicides, no pesticides, that had tremendous amounts of nutrition, but not tremendous amounts of quantity. That's why this worked. Not only did it work, like I said, people lost as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet, lost as much weight in a month as a year in any diet, lost no water weight and gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass, no one allowed to exercise. I know you're skeptical. I do this all the time and I see the comments. But are you unwilling to investigate for your benefit? by going to that website, the New Health Conversation. I'll put it down there again for you. Okay, gain. Jenna, I'm not sure what you mean by gain. Now you want to gain lean. If you want to gain weight, this is the right. Also, we work with professional athletes. They want to lean out, but they want to increase their lean muscle mass. So if you're talking about gaining, absolutely, 100% you can gain. But that also, see, Jenna, that's why we have people do personal consultations with our coaches. It's not one size fits all. We have people that are diabetics and high blood pressure. We have people with no thyroids. We have a gentleman with a heart transplant. We have kids as young as 2 and people 90. And we're not treating, diagnosing, or making any medical claims whatsoever. Because if anything, this works in conjunction with, not as a substitute for. If someone is on medication, we always want them to check with their doctors. But in many cases, they're able to, well, in the medical studies where they had, in these studies that I'm talking about, in the first 30 days, they had people that had high blood pressure, but let's just talk about blood sugar for a moment, because right now, diabetes is a scourge. The diabetics in here all were monitored by their medical doctors, not by the researchers, right? So with diabetic medication, thank God we have them, here's how they work. They basically drive down the blood sugar, okay? And in a month's time, people drop by 10 points, not 10%. Big difference, their blood sugar. The problem with the drugs, one of the side effects is, yes, it drives the blood sugar down, but at the same time, it increases insulin. When your insulin goes up, your body stores fat. That's why diabetics have such a terrible time trying to lose weight, okay? In the studies, despite coming down 10 points in a month, for the first time ever in history, they proved, or they saw in the studies, insulin came down 41% in 30 days. And keep in mind, no one was exercising. I know it sounds good to be true, but that's why you get to go and see the medical proof. You'll see the before and afters. It's not just their weight loss, it's you'll see their A1C and their blood pressure and their blood sugar and their cholesterol and their triglycerides. It'll shock you when you see the main reason to do this is for that. The weight loss is a given, or weight gain. Like with our athletes, they want to get stronger, better, faster, whatever. Because see, even everybody, there's a new term that probably most of you have never heard of. It's called normal weight obesity. What the heck is that? What it means is that they now can measure your visceral fat. That's the fat around your organs, the dangerous fat. And when they look at that in relationship to how much muscle you have, even if you look thin on the outside, literally the amount of visceral fat, you'd be technically classified as obese. Normal weight obesity. Because your visceral fat is also storing these chemicals. And yet in the studies, they proved through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, this was assisting the body in removing herbicides and pesticides and Scotchgard and Teflon and even plastics from the body. That's the main reason to do this. The weight loss is like, yeah, we know that's going to happen. And we work with people who weigh 600 pounds. I would say that the average, depending on the age, from 40 to about 100 pounds is what we normally get people that are struggling. They've tried everything. Nothing has ever worked. And this comes with basically 60% of what you would spend on your food in a month. You get 100% money back guarantee from those suppliers. You're not buying anything from us. You're not buying anything from the researchers. But you get to buy, well, the food from the grocery store, you're going to go and buy from the grocery list. But these other 5 foods, you buy directly from them, not from us. And they give you 100% money back guarantee in the first month. If you didn't like the taste, it doesn't work, et cetera. I know it sounds too darn good to be true, but that's it. That's the essence. People, I had one lady this morning, she said, what's the catch? I guess that's the catch. It's too good to be true. That's the catch. But it's the only protocol in the world with peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. That's what you should focus on. And I would really encourage you can see it there, go to the New Health Conversation and see the medical proof. We're not tricking you. So if you go there, don't think we're going to call you. No, we don't do that. You get to choose. You see the medical proof, you scroll down after you've looked at everything, and then you can sign up for free consultation. There's an interview on the website with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world. He says right in the interview, they will never recommend any form of traditional diets ever again. He said it would be unethical. He said, Peter, why would we put someone on a diet that will take them 8 weeks to lose weight in the most unhealthy way versus people on this new studies, this new protocol they invented, where people lost weight in 7 days. It took them 8 weeks on a diet, lost as much weight in a month as a year on any diet, lost no water weight. And instead of losing lean muscle, which is the case on every diet out there, they gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. No one allowed to exercise. Now that may seem weird, but the researchers didn't want exercise to be part of it because that would have been an outlier. That would have been a contributing factor potentially to this. Does that make sense to all of you? So again, would any of you, Sam, Thor, or well, Jenny are on here, or Gratitude Warrior? I'm more than happy to answer any other questions. I know it sounds good to be true, but understand we are not going to interfere with you. If you go to that website, you get to see everything. We're not holding anything back. So it's not like, for example, I've written 4 best-selling books out with medical doctors. I'm not telling you to impress you. I want to impress upon you. No books for sale. I don't want you to buy my books. We set up the medical site. Part of the reason is the research now is coming so fast, we can update the website in a nanosecond where, it takes a while to rewrite one of the books. I'm glad I wrote the books. I also did 20 shows on PBS and did over 1,500 live lectures all over the world. And for 20 of my 21 years in the medical world, despite writing 4 best-selling books all with medical doctors, the medical world would have ignored this totally. Now, I didn't invent it. I have nothing to do with it. And now with these peer-reviewed studies, we've got doctor after doctor coming on board because they're desperate for solutions for their patients. And again, we're not replacing drugs. Don't hear me say that. But imagine in the medical studies, the diabetics, with the help of their doctor in 30 days, were able to cut their medication in most cases by 50% in 30 days. Well, any of you that are on, blood sugar medication, I'm sure that would be a delight to you and to your doctor. I mean, thank gosh we have all these drugs. I don't know what we'd be doing otherwise. So it's not that we're working in conjunction with, not as a substitute for. Okay, Jenna, wonderful. So you understand, Jenna, go to the New Health Conversation right there. Google it. There's no spaces. You can do upper or lowercase. It doesn't matter. The New Health Conversation. See what you think, and then you can schedule a free consultation. And you have nothing. It's a pun. You have nothing to lose. You have everything to gain, but not weight. Okay. So anybody else, Gratitude Warrior or Sam Thor, would you like to ask me a question? So anybody, would anybody like to ask me a question? We're coming up on the almost 50-minute mark here. I normally go about an hour. I try and do 3 or 4 of these a day. I just need a little break in between. I know it seems like it's an easy job, but it takes, at least for me, it takes a tremendous amount of energy to concentrate to make sure that I'm relaying to you the medical proof in a way that, hopefully will move you. Because remember, to go to the website, that's for your benefit. You can go there, see all the medical benefit, and you don't have to sign up for a personal consultation if you don't want to. Because see, 50% of this is what you're going to consume, but the other 50% is how you're going to consume it. That's where the coaches come in, okay? It's really, really important that you all understand that. And then if any of you, whether Gratitude Warrior or Sam Thor, I'm just curious, if you wanted to ask me about maybe how much weight you'd like to lose, I could give you a pretty good idea about how long it might take you with no exercise. Now, if you want to exercise, it's even better. But keep in mind, the main reason to do this is not to lose weight, but it's to assist your own body in removing the chemicals that I've been talking about, the toxins that we're storing inside our fat cells. It's not up for debate. It's not like like we don't know this. The average adult on this podcast will have between 1,000 and 1,500 chemicals embedded inside your visceral fat. We have 80,000 chemicals in commercial use, and 2% have ever been tested for what they do to us. Do you think it might be a good idea to assist your body in removing some of these chemicals? Or do you think it's just good to keep accumulating? Because right now we're breathing in the fumes from the coal-fired power plants in China from 2 weeks ago, the mercury, the cadmium, etc. This is a worldwide problem. We have To give you an idea, it's now estimated there are 1 billion people worldwide clinically obese, not overweight, clinically obese. And they went on to say in this big study, making obesity, wait till you hear this, the leading form of malnutrition in the world. They went on to say that people don't understand that being underweight or being obese are both major forms of malnutrition because food lacks because they're not consuming the right amount of nutrients, vitamins, minerals, and substances that support maximum health. It has nothing to do with the quantity of food, zero to do with it. It has everything to do with the quality of what's inside the food that you're consuming. If you learn nothing else in this podcast, it's that. And if you think you're going to go and buy organic and that's going to solve the problem, you're sadly mistaken. They did over 200 studies on organic, comparing it to regular food. Now, it is a little bit better nutritionally. Just remember, I said a little bit better. And the reason to eat it, which I do, is it's less polluted. It has less herbicides and pesticides. But it still has 25% of the herbicides and pesticides that are on the farmer's field next door. Because a crop, they come over the crop dusters and the wind blows it over. But more importantly, the chemicals that are being used, the herbicides and the pesticides, they seep into the water table. And that same water table that's feeding the non-organic foods is also feeding the organic foods. See, we're like in La La Land. It's all cool. And I feel great. And I'll say something right now that I know will make you mad, but I'm going to ask for your forgiveness. And that's this. Every one of you on this podcast right now, you have no idea how bad you actually feel because you don't understand how good you could feel. It's as if, imagine this. This is a good example. So let's say I need to buy gasoline to actually do. I'm going to go and fill my car up after this. And I'm making this part up. But pump number one is $4 a gallon. There's a sign. This 1 gallon will take you 20 miles. Okay. The pump next door is $5 a gallon. It says this gallon will take you 100 miles. That's how we should look at nutrition. Do you want the gallon to take you 20 miles? Or do you want the gallon that'll take you 100 miles? So by definition, you can consume less quantity of food without consuming less quality of the nutrition. That's the secret to this whole thing. These research, like I said, they don't sell anything. They don't have a product. They don't have a company. They're scientists. But I thank gosh they didn't give up after 38 years, 100 studies, thousands of people. Every diet they ever put people on, they gained all their weight back. Every diet they put people on, 40% of what they lost was lean muscle mass. So when they put this together, it was a theory. They didn't know if it was going to work. They didn't, because they'd never done anything like that before. So you're all the beneficiary of that if you want to be. So Sam Thor, no questions for me? Or are you, I'm just curious if you want to lose weight, you need to lose weight, you want to gain weight, you got any medical challenges, and you don't have to share, because the most important thing for me is that you would go to the New Health Conversation if you really want to check it out. Doo-Doo Brown. Again, diets are officially obsolete because they don't work. SKR, diets are officially obsolete. So Sam Thor, if you don't want to share, it's perfectly okay. But Sam Thor, how excited would you be if you could, I'm just assuming maybe you want to lose weight. I could be wrong. But imagine how excited would you be if you lost a whole dress size in 7 days with no exercise? How about losing as much weight in 4 days as in a month of any diet you've ever been on? Lose as much weight in a month as a year in any diet, lose no water. Instead of losing lean muscle, gain 6 to 9% lean muscle mass with no exercise. If you go to the website, you'll see the before and after pictures. You will think that we photoshopped them. We didn't. There's no tricks, no gimmicks. So I'm going to end this podcast unless somebody comes on and has comments in about 5 minutes. It'll be an hour. Sometimes I go longer, but I have to run a few errands in between. So I'll probably be doing another live. Let's see, it's 2:15 on the East Coast, probably around, let's say 4 o'clock. I'll probably do another one, okay? But again, I invite all of you to go to that website, the New Health Conversation. And if you like what you see, sign up for a free personal consultation or not. So would anybody else like to ask me a question before I go? I see some people, but Like I said, I'm here to help you if that's what you want, if you want to be helped. Um, Parker 562, what we've been talking about is that diets are officially obsolete. They don't work, they won't work, they can't work. And we've presented all the medical evidence showing why diets fail and this new protocol where men and women are losing as much weight in a week as 8 weeks of any diet. They're losing as much weight in a month as a year in any diet, losing no water weight and gaining 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. I mean, most Pat C. Again, diets are officially obsolete. They don't work, they can't work, they won't work. So, Parker, you have the option down at the bottom. You can see the new health conversation. That's the free website with all the medical proof. You can go there if you want and see the medical proof behind why diets are officially obsolete, because there are 10 new peer-reviewed human trial studies. These are the highest you can go in medical research. No other diet, nutrition, supplement program in the world have peer-reviewed human trial. You'll hear the word scientific study. You'll hear a clinical trial, mice and rats. That doesn't count in the medical world. You want a peer-reviewed human trial study. But again, how excited would you be if you could lose as much weight in 7 days as in a week of diets, lose no water, and actually gain lean muscle mass? And no one was allowed to, Parker, no one was allowed to exercise because the researchers didn't want exercise to be part of this. I know it sounds too good to be true, but the reason we give you the medical website to go to is because it's irrefutable medical proof about everything I'm telling you right now. And if you go there and you like what you see, Parker, we won't contact you. Let me be clear. We will not. But if you like what you see, scroll down at the bottom. It says sign up for a free personal consultation with one of our coaches. It's 100% free. And once you go there, you can decide, if you want to move forward or not. Because they're not there to sell you or convince you. They're there to educate you. So Alamino Mend, I'm sure I don't want to mispronounce your name. That's quite a name. If that's your name, cool. We're talking about why diets are officially obsolete. And we have the website at the bottom. I'll put it down at the bottom of the comments again so everybody can see it. But basically, it's a free medical website where men and women, the proof is men and women lost as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet, lost as much weight in 30 days as a year on a diet, lost no water weight, and instead of losing lean muscle, they gained 6 to 9% lean muscle with no exercise. I know it sounds good to be true, but that website, you might want to make a note of it to go there, because obviously when I come off the podcast, it won't be there anymore. You can see it, the new health conversation. Don't you all think with 80% of America overweight, Almino, and 50% obese and 50% pre-diabetic, do you think maybe that we need a different approach? But the other thing for all of you to understand is in 30 days, people's blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides all came down dramatically in 30 days. People lowered inflammation, which plagues all of us. It's the underlying cause of every disease out there. It went down 25% in 30 days. Never seen anything like this before. The medical researchers who developed this, okay, they don't sell anything. They don't have any products. They put this protocol together with about 40% of the food you'd buy from the grocery store. You get a grocery list, but the other 5 foods come from all over the world that we don't sell it to you. They don't sell it to you. You buy directly from the suppliers who supply these 5 foods to the medical studies. And if you go to the website, you'll see there's a 20-minute video on exactly what they did. But I want you all to understand diets are obsolete. Period. End of the story. Not up for debate. Okay? Is that healthy? Yes. Yes. It's more than, oh my God, yes. That's a wonderful, Sam Thor, wonderful question. Let me explain it to you. On every diet ever studied, 40% of what people are losing is their lean muscle mass. That's why when you hear the doctors say, don't lose more than a pound, don't lose more than a pound a week because it's unhealthy, because the only thing you're losing on diets is your lean muscle mass, okay? The thing about these medical studies that are so important, that when they looked at, because they measured lean muscle, that was part of what they did, right? They did blood, stool, urine, fat analysis, and muscle analysis. So Sam Thor, instead of them losing lean muscle mass, with no exercise, they gained 6 to 9% lean muscle. Now let me tell you, Sam Thor, the most current medical advice. The faster you can lose weight, the healthier you become if It's healthy weight loss without the loss of lean muscle. All the medical evidence now is saying that. They've completely reversed their course. The thing that they were guarding against was losing the wrong kind of weight, which you lose it too fast on a diet, you lose lean muscle. Does that make sense to you, Sam Thor? As a matter of fact, it's even more dramatic than that, because there were people that lost more than 8 pounds in a week. There were people that lost that much pound in 4 days. I mean, it was all over the board. Sam Thor, I know it sounds too good to be true. I don't want you to believe me, because you think, oh, I don't make anything up. That's why you have the option to go see. There's an interview. This is the best part, Sam. On the website, there's an interview with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world for 38 years. He and his teams have done over 100 studies on every diet out there. You'll hear him in the interview saying, what shocked us was that people lost weight effectively 12 times faster than any diet they'd ever analyzed in 38 years, while not losing any water weight, no water weight, and gaining 6 to 9% lean muscle. You're actually getting healthier by going on this, the faster you can lose the weight. I know. See, the thing I understand, Sam Thor, you and everybody else has such a hard time wrapping it, because we've been drilled into our head all this nonsense about lowering calories to lose weight. It's totally obsolete. Diets are obsolete. They're crazy. I read to you, I think earlier, but some of the new people that are coming on, Harvard Medical School stopped counting calories. They say, see, here's the thing, Sam, this is what they told you. Most people have been taught that losing weight is a matter of simple math. Cut calories, specifically 3,500, and you lose a pound. But as it turns out, experts are learning that this age-old strategy is totally misguided. The idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. She goes on to say, drop the calories notion and concentrate on what's in the food, not how much food you're consuming. I understand this is so far out of what we've ever been told. It's so far out of the box. But what we're doing is failing miserably. Sam Thor, seriously. So my calorie deficit used to lose. No, absolutely not. You're going to gain back. You heard me read. Let me read it to you again, Sam Thor. Truth is, calorie counting is a terrible approach for weight loss. While counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. What's even worse is 2/3 of people who count or restrict calories gain back more weight than they lost. Hate to tell you, but that's what's going to happen. Listen, Sam Thor, diets don't calorie deficit. Out the window, obsolete. There's another big, I'll read to you from another big study. The title of this one is, Why Losing Weight Isn't About Cutting Calories. Amid all fad diets, calorie restriction continues to be a popular approach to weight loss. It turns out that cutting calories for weight loss is a misguided strategy that leads to the unintended weight gain over time. Let's go to a third one. This one's titled, wait till you hear this title. Don't bother counting calories, it's complete nonsense. Listen to what they say. Inevitably, notice they use the word inevitably. More than 95% of people will go back to their baseline weight, and many will go above it. They rebound back if they're doing any form of calorie-restricted diet. So your calorie-restricted diet gets what you're going to get in the long run. You're going to weigh more than when you started. Does that excite? I mean, I think sometimes people think that I'm trying to be mean. I'm not. And you all need to understand, my own mother was morbidly obese my whole life. I loved her. She was awesome. It didn't matter how big she was. I loved her. So I know what fat shaming looks like. I lived with it. It's horrible. I would never do that. We're here to help you, support you by doing what? Making you aware of something that could change the rest of your life. We're not up here to give you, oh, let's do the keto diet this week or the paleo diet or this time-restricted eating is complete nonsense. Not because I say so. Here's a big study on time-restricted eating that was just published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. Let me read this is medical proof. It's not these people, these influencers giving you a bunch of hype. Listen to this, Journal of American Medical Association. New research found that overweight adults who were assigned to routinely fast for 16 hours daily, eating all their meals between noon and 8, over the course of 3 months, gained almost no benefit and lost 2 to 3.5 pounds. And most of the weight they shed was not body fat, but lean muscle mass. So, Sam Thor, that's your problem. Whatever weight you've lost, up to 40% of your lean muscle mass. It's scientifically proven. It's not my opinion. So, well, I will promise you, Sam. Okay, so Sam, let me ask you another question, as long as we're having a live one. What are you doing about removing chemicals from your body? Seriously, I'll wait for your response. What are you doing about removing the Tito syndrome from your body? Because what you're talking about there had no impact whatsoever on removing chemicals from your body. None, zero. I applaud you. If you lost the weight and you kept it off, that's great. But you did nothing to detox your body. I've said about 1 billion times on this, the main reason to do this is not to lose weight. And if you've kept it off, then you're an anomaly. They said 66 and 2/3 of people gained back more weight than they lost. If you've kept it off, great. But you did nothing to detox your body. And those chemicals are really doing bad things to us. And you're continuing to store them in your body. Because your body doesn't know what else to do with them. Your immune system can't deal with herbicides and pesticides, Scotchgard, Teflon, etc. So I'm just curious, what do you think you're doing about What do you mean you can't remove chemicals? Did you not listen, Sam Thor? These are the top researchers in the world. They did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis. With all due respect, we have medical proof that they removed chemicals from the body. You can believe whatever you want to believe. It's fine. I'm not, I have no dog in this hunt. If that's what you think, go for it. But the reality is not. Because you have an opinion, it doesn't make it a fact. We're talking about medical facts here. They proved it was removing the chemicals from the body. So unfortunately, don't tell me it's not. That's a good opinion. You're entitled to it, but there's no medical evidence behind what you're saying, okay? As far as removing chemicals from the body. Yeah, we breathe it every day. That's true, but what I'm saying is we're accumulating more and more every day. Do you think it would be a good idea to assist your body in beginning to remove chemicals from our body? That I apologize. Then if you misunderstood what I was saying. These obesogens, didn't I read to you from the Endocrine Society, the largest organization of experts devoted to research on hormones, and the clinical practice of endocrinology reports the rise in the incidence of obesity matches the rise in the use and distribution of industrialized chemicals called obesogens. Simply put, obesogens are chemicals that disrupt the function of our hormonal system, leading to weight gain and many of the diseases that curse the American populace. They enter our bodies from a variety of sources, from soy, from hormones fed to animals, plastics in food packaging, and chemicals added to processed food, and from pesticides sprayed on produce. They act in a variety of ways, mimicking hormones such as estrogen and blocking the hormone testosterone, and essentially reprogram us to gain weight. Then they would go on. Frederick von Saul, PhD, biological science at University of Columbia, says obesogens are hijacking the regulatory system that control body weight. This presence of obesogens is the first reason that traditional dieting methods have become outdated. Never before have traditional low-carbohydrate, low-calorie diets been forced to accommodate for this level of synthetic chemicals and the adverse effects they have on the body. The body's attempt to protect itself from the constant assault of synthetic toxins results in the production and storage of fat. That's not my opinion. These are world experts. And it wasn't until 2005 that we even knew we were storing chemicals in our body. Mount Sinai Medical School in New York. You got to understand, I understand your skepticism or your opinions. It's based on what you know. You don't know this. How could you? Did you know what obesogens were before this podcast? I'm just curious. Maybe you did. I'm not here to debate people. I'm here to present the medical evidence. What everybody does with it, that's up to all of you. All I know is that I lost 40 pounds 21 years ago and I've kept it off for 21 years. Sounds pretty good to me. But the main reason to do this is not to lose weight. It's to enable your own body to upregulate the natural detoxification abilities that our body has. But you're never going to do it with regular food. It's been proven. No diet has ever been proven to remove a gram of toxins from our body. Those are facts. Those aren't opinions on my part, right? Obesogens, yeah, Parker. Samantha, on medical proof of what? Did you do blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis proving you're removing chemicals from your body? But anyway, Parker, obesogens, let me read to you what they are. The Endocrine Society, the largest organization of experts devoted to research on hormones and the clinical practice of endocrinology, reports that the rise in the incidence on obesity matches the rise in the use and distribution of industrialized chemicals. These chemicals have a name, they're called obesogens. So listen to this, Parker. Simply put, obesogens are chemicals that disrupt the function of our hormonal system, leading to weight gain and many of the diseases that curse the American populace. They enter our body from a variety of sources, from natural compounds found in soy, hormones fed to animals, plastics in food packaging, chemicals added to processed food, and pesticides sprayed into produce. They act in a variety of ways, mimicking human hormones such as estrogen, blocking the action of other hormones such as testosterone, and essentially reprogram us to gain weight. So Parker, that's what we're all facing. We're storing these chemicals inside our body, specifically in the visceral fat, not the outer layer fat, which is the adipose or the subcutaneous, but the underlying fat. And what we've been talking about is the fact that this protocol, I've written 4 best-selling books, that doesn't matter for right now, but they have medical proof this is removing herbicides and pesticides, the obesogens. And then part of the side benefit of this, people lost weight in 7 days that took 8 weeks of any diet. They lost as much weight in a month as a year on any diet, lost no water, and gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass, and no one was allowed to exercise. Parker, how excited would you be if you could lose as much weight in 7 days as in 8 weeks of any diet, lose as much weight in a month as a year on any diet, lose no water, and gain 6 to 9% lean muscle mass? Would that be amazing or what? So Parker, but if you lose it too quick, oh my gosh, Parker, here's the thing, okay? I'm glad you're so astute. First of all, let me establish something. We have 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. 10, okay? They were done by the top weight loss, nutrition, and physiologists in the world. They've done 38 years of research, over 100 studies. They invented this. One of the things that shocked them was, yes, people lost weight basically 12 times faster than any diet. But when they measured, which they did, because they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, first of all, they proved this was removing chemicals from the body. No other diet, no other nutrition, no other supplement has ever had medical proof that it's doing this. But the other thing that shocked them, the men and women, Parker, were not allowed to exercise. And yet, they lost no water weight because they measured that, and they gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass in 8 weeks. Sorry, in 30 days, not 8 weeks. In 8 weeks, I was going to say the visceral fat, that's the fat around your organs, it shrank by 33%. As a matter of fact, if you go to the website, you'll see before and afters. You will swear we photoshopped them. Men and women lost 100 pounds with no loose skin. And Parker, yes, still the wives' tale now is losing weight too fast is unhealthy. If you're on a diet, yes, it is. It's terribly unhealthy because, Parker, every diet studied, up to 40% of what people are losing is lean muscle mass. Not up for debate. So you can imagine, and these are the top weight loss researchers in the world, not somebody giving you an opinion. They're the top people. They couldn't believe it that people gain 6 to 9% lean muscle mass with no exercise. Now, if you want to exercise, it's even better. So, Parker, I'm just curious, are you looking to lose weight? What would be your primary? No, it's not supplements, Parker. I'm going to explain right now. I was just about ready to do that for everybody. So, Parker, let me tell you some new things. Number one, let me first, just to sort of set the stage, just so you know, this is Harvard Medical School. They've made a 180 on calorie counting. Listen to what they say. The title is Stop Counting Calories. They said this idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, Dr. Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. She goes on to say, drop the calories notion. It's time to take a different approach by concentrating on what's in the food, not how much food we're consuming. These researchers have done 38 years, 100 studies, thousands of people. Every diet, every time people lost weight. But every diet, when they measured, up to 40% of what they were losing was lean muscle, just like we've been discussing. So they said, wait a minute, we got to do something different. So they had a theory. They said, here was the problem with every diet. We all, Parker, you and me and everybody, we work on a minimum amount of nutrition. That the brain, once it has enough nutrition, it's cool. The minute you go on a diet, it has nothing to do with calories. You're lowering the quantity of food you're consuming. What else you're lowering? Nutrition. When your brain senses not enough nutrition, it goes in survival mode and immediately stops you from burning fat and attacks and turns your muscles into fuel, slowing down your metabolism and also impacting your own immune system. That's what people don't understand when they go, I don't care what diet is. They all come on and tell me about all the weight they lost. Well, up to 40% is their lean muscle mass, no matter what they think. They don't have any medical proof to support their opinions. That's what's going on. So the researchers said, wait a minute, can we lower the amount of food we give people, but not lower the amount of nutrition? So Parker, this is what they did. They created a grocery list that you would get 40% of what you'd buy is from the grocery store, organic, only 40%, because our food in this country is becoming more and more nutritionally insufficient, okay? So what they did, and by the way, they don't have a product, they don't sell anything, they're scientists. We don't sell you anything. But these researchers located fulfillment companies who for 25 years had gone around the world to find foods that had tremendous amounts of nutrition, but not tremendous amounts of quantity. They went as far away as Russia, Mongolia, Manchuria, Tibet and the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand, and brought in these 5 foods with the researchers said they created the world's most perfect meal nutritionally, not supplements. Okay, no supplements. There's no pills here, lotions, potions, no, nothing like that, right? So now they had 40% of the food from the grocery store and 60% of the food from these 5 foods from around the world. Then they created 2 completely different ways of consuming the food. This will probably seem crazy to you at first. They did 5 days a week, every week, what was called protein pacing. On a protein pacing day, they started the day with the world's most perfect meal. They had lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and Parker, they had them have a 4th meal. They had 4 meals a day, starting with the world's most perfect meal, lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and their last meal was the world's most perfect meal. 5 days a week. Then 2 days a week, this is how they got rid of, how they were proving that they were removing the chemicals from the body. They had people do a 48-hour, I'm not misspeaking here, intermittent nutritional fasting. On those days, no food from the grocery store. Only these 5 foods from around the world, again, 4 times a day, spread out over about 12 hours. About every 2 or 3 hours, they were having one of these meals of the world's most perfect food. And what happened? First of all, I'll tell you this part. Most men and women lost as much weight in the first 4 days as a month on any diet. After 7 days, they were losing as much weight as like 8 weeks of dieting. In a month, they lost as much weight as people were losing in a year with no loss of water weight and gaining 6 to 9% lean muscle with absolutely no exercise at all. In a month, they reduced blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides in a month. But here was the one that was huge. Hunger went down 41% in 30 days. People's cravings gone. But the other thing that was so significant that they measured for, this is the first time it's really ever been done, they measured for inflammation in the body. And in case you don't know, Parker, all the medical stuff now says that inflammation is the underlying cause of every disease, including diabetes, cancer, you name it, inflammation. In 30 days, they have medical proof. It's in the studies. You'll see it if you go to the website. Inflammation came down 25% in 30 days. No diet has ever touched anything like this. In 8 weeks, remember I said we're storing the chemicals in the visceral fat. That's the fat around the organs. That shrank by 33% in 8 weeks. No exercise, no sit-ups, no crunches, no saunas. They even had people wear Fitbits proving that they weren't exercising. I understand it's hard, Parker, for everybody to believe that anything like this even exists. But you got to understand, we have 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies that are on this. Oh my God, did they get toned? What are you kidding me? You'll go and see there's an athlete on there. You'll see 11 days, just in 11 days, the transformation in someone that was already in really good shape. You'll think they went to a Halloween shop and bought abs. So here's the thing I want to emphasize, Parker. As you begin to reduce the visceral fat, which we all have around our organs, and see, some people understand, a pound of fat and a pound of muscle weigh exactly the same, but fat takes up 10 times the volume in the body. So literally what's happened is you're shrinking the visceral fat, the body's making lean muscle in that same space and supporting you. You'll see people on the site, Parker, who lost 100 pounds, men and women, no loose skin. Wait till you see the transformations in their physique. I know you're going to say, like everybody does, that we photoshopped them. We didn't Photoshop. I promise you, Parker. And again, you can see I put the website down, the New Health Conversation, no spaces, the New Health Conversation, where you can go and see all the medical evidence if that's what you want to do. So let's see. Okay, it's not a product, okay? It's a process. It's a combination, Talia Girl 71. It's a combination of 40% of food from the grocery store. You'd get a grocery list of proteins, fats, carbs, salad dressings, etc., but only 40%. The other 5 food groups come from all over the world, and they contain things like trace ionic minerals that we have them in this country, but out of 70 in the best organic food that you're getting 20 out of 70. These researchers found a source that had all 70 minerals. They also used another food that has what are called adaptogens. Now, what the heck are those? They come from Mongolia and Manchuria, and this food massively lowers stress and inflammation in the body. If you were on a minute ago, I just said in 30 days, they have proved that this protocol lowered inflammation in the body by 25% in 30 days, unheard of. One of the food sources had 21 naturally occurring vitamins. Now, if you're not familiar, almost all supplements you're buying are made in a laboratory. They're synthetic. There's 21 of these vitamins are all natural. There's nothing processed here. And there's no herbicides and pesticides. They went, these researchers, by the way, they don't sell anything. You're not buying anything from them. They did the research using regular food and these foods from around the world and had a completely different way of consuming it. And it's, I mean, how excited would you be, Italia Girl, if you could lose a whole dress size in 7 days with no exercise? Lose as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet. Lose as much weight in a month as a year on a diet. Lose no water and gain, not lose lean muscle, gain 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. So this is not up for, this is what they did. These researchers, who are the top weight loss, nutrition, and physiology researchers for 38 years, over 100 studies, thousands of people, they came up with this new protocol. And they don't sell anything. They don't have a product. They don't have a company. And at the website, when you go there, what you can do if you want, you get to see all the medical proof, and then you can scroll down and sign up for a free, what's called personal consultation with one of our coaches, okay? And those coaches, they're not there to sell you. They're not there to convince you. They're there to answer all of your questions. The coaching is free, not just the consultation, but they'll follow you the whole time on your journey, because this is a journey. It's not a destination. It's called R2M, Race to Maintenance. So the key is to get your goal, whatever that is. Once you're there, you're at the end of the beginning. Then they teach you how to maintain it. I tell you, I lost 40 pounds 21 years ago. I've kept it off for 21 years. Most of the people in these big medical studies, which were started like 6 years ago, they take a long time. This is as high as you can go in medical proof. No other diet in the world has peer-reviewed human trial studies. They don't. It's nonsense. They don't have it. And this is, it's like I said, diets are officially obsolete. If you're on this podcast, diets are they're completely obsolete. They don't work. They can't work. They won't work, no matter what you think. They don't work. And the medical proof we have that, absolutely proves it. So, okay, well, would anybody else like to make a comment or question or anything? Parker, hopefully that gives you an indication, and you can see below your name in Italian, you can see the website above your name, the New Health Conversation. And for both of you, if you go there, we will not contact you. So if you go there, don't worry, we're not doing that. We want you to see the medical proof, and then you can decide. Once you see the medical proof, scroll down, sign up for a free personal consultation if you want, or if you don't want, okay? Anybody else want to ask me a question? It's me. Oh, that's a cool. Does it take into account current body mass? No, it absolutely takes it. Listen, to give you an idea, Italia Girl, okay? We have children as young as 2 doing this. We have people 90. We have an 80-year-old. She just lost 81 pounds. She's 80 years old. You're not supposed to lose weight when you're at that thing. We also have a young man now. He's 5'11", 650 pounds. I'd say the average, just to give you an idea, Talia, is probably anywhere on the low side, 30 pounds, 80 pounds, 90. It depends. How tall are you? How much do you weigh? And I'll give you a realistic estimate of how quickly and safely you could lose whatever weight that you want to lose if you're willing to share that with me, okay? I always ask people that because otherwise I'm just shooting in the dark, you know what I'm saying? And I'm happy to stay on when I have engagement with people because it's really for you, about you, you know, whatever. And also, if you don't mind, I'd sure like to know what else you've tried or, you know, what you think about this podcast. And because I'm trying to do 2 to 4 of these a day, depending on how well my weight loss, my voice holds up. Okay. So again, if you're willing to put it in there, I'll give you a realistic assessment of how long I think it would take you. But even if you don't want to do that, I really would encourage you to go to the and 56185 work on walkie. Yeah, okay. All right. So I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to be shocked. I would say in the first 4 days, okay, you ready for this, Italia? You'll probably lose 6 to 8 pounds. In the first, let's say 10, 11 days, you're probably going to lose at least 10, maybe even 12 pounds. The first month, so 185, and I'm going to give you a number and maybe you won't like it, but you probably at 5'6", 185, you probably, well, let me ask you, what do you think would be your ideal weight? Because I don't want to start a controversy with you just quite yet, but I'm probably going to disagree with the number you give, but that's okay because most people are used to diets. So honestly, I want you to give me a weight that you get there, you'd be on your front porch, if you have a front porch, going, oh my God, I can't believe this is real. Oh, no, 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 no. Sorry, not even close. You would be easily 5'6", probably 140 at that. So that's 45 pounds. Oh my gosh, easily, you could lose 45 pounds in 60 days or less while gaining lean muscle. I know it sounds crazy. We see it all the time. That's without you exercise. Now we want you can exercise. Not a problem. We don't care about that. But again, this is why you want to hook, one of your coaches. See, that's the kind of number I'd see with people that go on diets. They think that's really great because in your case, at 155, you lost 30 pounds, but you're not at your ideal. You're not where you should be. And 140, actually, you probably won't like it if I told you, but you probably need to be between 130 and 135 if you want to be at world-class health. Not that you're trying out for the Olympics, but world-class health. So let's say it's 50 pounds. Okay, so you're not mad at me. I tell you, I don't want you to be mad at me look, I'm a scientist. I'm a researcher. Wouldn't you rather have me give you the real possibility than just giving you some flippant answer? Look, your coach, they'll work with you to get you to your goal. But the other thing I tell you, just imagine, if in 4 days you're down like 8 pounds, what will you think? Will you think your scale's broken? I'm just curious. Will you think your scale's broken? That's just so funny. I mean, I see it all the time, But I know it sounds, but also I tell you, I didn't even tell you the best part. So the first 30 days, you have to eat anyway, okay? So think of it this way. The food you normally would buy in a month, only 40% of it you're going to buy from the grocery store, and the other 60% comes from these foods from around the world. The people who supply the foods from around the world, who you buy directly from, you don't buy from us, you don't buy from the coach, you don't buy from the researchers, all right? They offer you in the first 30 days, I tell you, girl, 100% money back guarantee on the 60% of the food you're buying. Doesn't that sound too good to be true? Isn't it like crazy? What do you mean? How can they do that? Well, first of all, nothing's 100%. We both know that. But you've got to understand they have the medical proof. These are the foods they used in these medical studies where men and women did lose as much weight in 4 days as a month of diets. And it's really rare when everyone asks for their money. I mean, are you going to ask for your money back if you lose 20 or 25 pounds in a month? Are you going to be like, oh, that wasn't, no, I want to go back to what I was doing before to gain all the weight back? You see how crazy that is? So I tell you, I'm going to put it down there again for you. I'll check out your site and try the quiz. It's not a quiz. No. Well, let me explain something to you. There's no quiz. You get to see the medical proof, then scroll down and sign up for a free personal consultation with a live coach, not some questionnaire. That does not work for us. Because again, that's really good. You've told us that you're working out, whatever, but like, are you on any medication and what have you tried before? No, it's really the consult. It's totally free, completely free. And it's not just a questionnaire, and they'll really, and nobody, so I tell you, girl, nobody that would coach you has not done it themselves, and no one that would coach you is not trained to answer all your questions. But also, they're going to be your coach the whole time. This isn't a pig in a poke where, oh, well, I decided to do the protocol and, goodbye. No, 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 no. Because 50% of this is what you're going to consume, 40% from the grocery store, 60% from these 5 foods around the world. But the other 50% is how you consume it, when you consume it, how much you consume it, et cetera. Oh, I didn't tell you that other part. I should show everybody that. In addition, this is what the researchers developed. It's called the Blueprint for Success. And what it is, each one of these yellows you see, I know you can't see them right now, they're video tutorials each day from the researchers who did the studies, who tell you things like, we'll never recommend a traditional diet again. This is why it's safe. This is why on day 1, this is what you do. That's all free. And you get a live coach. Are you starting to see like this is too good to be true? But we have such success that it's crazy. But I think, and I tell you, girl, to be honest with you, you know what the most expensive part about this is? It's the new wardrobe you're going to have to buy. Because when you're down to 130, I don't think the clothes you're wearing now are going to fit you or even close. But a lot of ladies, they joke with me and say, Peter, you don't understand. I can go shopping in my own closet. Now, we're not going to discourage you from working out and doing it, but that doesn't work. Doesn't. But if you do that and this, I'm giving you the results I'm talking about for you. That's with no exercise. So if you exercise, it could be even better. But again, a coach is going to advise you because 5 days a week, you're doing essentially 4 meals a day. And 2 days a week, you're doing 4 meals a day, but only no food from the grocery store. So in those days, if you were working on those days, the coaches will advise you about cutting back on the time and the intensity of what you're doing. Because the main reason to do this is to combat this TDOS syndrome, which you and me and every person in the world has, toxicity, deficiency, overweight, and stress. And in order for the body to be able to detox, it takes tremendous amounts of energy. So the reason not to go all full out on intermittent nutritional fasting day is you actually would impede the success of this. Because no workout you're ever going to do is ever going to produce anything like it. Look, I work with one of the top trainers in Hollywood who trains some of the biggest stars. We've been friends now for a while, and I met him about 8 or 9 years ago, and he was pretty arrogant, and I told him that. But he started at 12% body fat. I tell you, girl, I would kill to be 12% body fat. In 14 days, I tell you, he went from 12% body fat to 5% body fat and gained 5 pounds of lean muscle. When you go to the website, you will see before and afters that you will swear we photoshopped him. We didn't Photoshop him. I know it sounds too good to be true, but I do this, this is what I do. So anyway, yes, nutrition counts for how we look, but exercise good for heart. Yeah, exactly. It's wonderful for cardiovascular, muscle tone and flexibility. But imagine, wait till you see the muscle tone on these people. People lost 50, you won't believe it. You'll think, oh, no, it's not possible. So that's what I'm saying. If you work out, it's only going to be that much better. But imagine, you should be impressed the results with no one allowed to exercise. No one's ever seen that, exercising, dieting, starving, fat, whatever. No one's ever produced anything like that. So if you're really into that, it's only going to be that much better and faster. And your tone is going to change dramatically. I'm excited for you. I really, if you do decide to do it. And like I said, the coaching's free. So would anybody else like to? Hi, JD. I'm just finishing up. We may do another one later, and maybe we can boost later if you're around. But for the rest of you, is there anybody else that would like to ask me a question? And I tell you, girl, thank you very, very much for the input. I really, really appreciate it. Okay. And I think that, look, at a minimum, I hope you're at least a little bit curious. And again, I want to tell you a million times, if you go to that website, we will not contact you. Only way we'll contact you is if you contact us by scrolling down and signing up for the free personal consultation. So anybody else like to ask me a question? TikTok, TikTok, TikTok. Well, that's funny. I didn't mean it that way, like TikTok, tick. I meant it like the clock, TikTok, tick, you know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I've been on this live, I've been on a little too long. I'm getting a little goofy. I need to take a break. All right, well, then I want to bid all of you. What's amazing is I got people from all over the world on these podcasts. So I never know whether to say, in New York, I would say good afternoon. In California, I'd probably say good morning. It's tomorrow in Bangladesh and Australia. I mean, but anyway, I'll just say goodbye for now. If you like what you're hearing, my TikTok is the New Health Conversation. You can like it. I think I have over 300 like 10-minute videos there on all these topics in more detail about why diets don't work and why protein is so misunderstood. And just a whole bunch of topics that you can see there also on that website. So anyway, I encourage all of you to go to the New Health Conversation and see the medical proof for yourself. So I'm going to say bye for now and probably come on in maybe another. So it's 3 o'clock on the East Coast, probably around 3:30 or 4 o'clock East Coast time.